Hey folks, I'm Taylor Stewart.
And I'm Tyler Tipton. Welcome to the Blue Wave, your source for sports.
First things first, let's get it started with college basketball. It's right around the corner.
Yeah, it sure is. I'll tell you, it's a real exciting time for us Owls, especially us Owl fans here for the basketball teams. We had our pepper rally a couple weeks ago, the Owl Madness. Some call it Midnight Madness, but it was at 8 p.m. But, I'm going to call it Owl Madness. Listen, Owl Madness was a very exciting event. Got a lot of free giveaways, a couple Philly cheesesteaks, some free shirts, wristbands, whatnot. We had some performances. They weren't the best, but that's not important. What is important was the introducing of the teams, getting to know your coaches, getting to know your players, and I'm going to tell you right now, Taylor, this is a season of high hopes.
Tyler, I agree with you. Our women's team is looking great. We have some returning seniors. Our roster is full of experience. Meanwhile, on the men's side, we have some awesome freshman recruits. We have Dragon, our transfer, who's able to play this year. He's going to bring height. He's going to bring presence, and it's looking up for our Owls.
Yeah, the Dragon's definitely going to be slaying people. And let me tell you something. We need to get this home opener win real quick, November 5th, against crosstown rival Lynn University. Let me speak about Lynn real quick. I say crosstown rivalry. Listen, we are the alpha dog in this town. FAU is above PBSC. FAU is above Lynn University in every aspect, academic, athletics. And let me tell you something. This home opener, November 5th, this is going to be a whipping. We're going to be dunking, scoring, stealing, and I expect at least a 20-point defeat. But enough with basketball. It is pigskin season right now, Taylor. The NFL, as many years, has been a surprising year so far. This year, more surprising than the rest. Let's talk about the NFC West. NFC West was previously known as one of the not-so-better divisions of football. They're actually probably, if you ask me, in my opinion, which this is an opinion show, they're probably the worst division overall in all of NFL.
I'd agree with that.
Okay. Last year, the only team they had out of there was the San Francisco 49ers. However, this year, the Seattle Seahawks, okay, they're winning a lot of games. They just beat the Patriots.
They're contenders, for sure.
49ers, still contenders. Rams, don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep. This team can clinch a wild card. And we can't forget, down in the desert, Arizona Cardinals. Everybody thought Kevin Cobb, John Skeleton, who's going to be the starting quarterback, is going to be a good team this year. They've been putting up wins, and that's all that matters. Okay? And, Arizona has one of the FAU alumni, Rob Hausler. Another FAU alumni that's been making noise in the NFL, Alfred Morris for the Washington Redskins.
Yeah, and he's playing with RG3, who, speaking of him, a lot of MVP talks are starting to come up. Of course, it's early in the season. We don't know what's going to happen, but I think he could do it. He doesn't have the record to back it up, but I think he has the talent. And I think he's definitely a contender.
Now, RG3 does have the talent someday to be the NFL MVP. However, not this year. Rookie of the Year, absolutely. But this year, MVP, I've got to go to the undefeated Atlanta Falcons and Matt Ryan. Okay, they call it Hot Atlanta for a reason. This team is not showing any sign of slowing down, and they're on a roll. They're finding ways to win. They've been battle-tested. They're playing a pretty tough division in the NFC South, and I think they got the tools this year to get to the playoffs and succeed.
Now let's go to the Mannings.
Okay.
A lot of people wrote off Peyton, including myself, thought he should have retired, hung it up. He's in the talks for MVP.
Absolutely. Let's not forget about his younger brother, Eli Manning, who I think, if you ask me right now on the spot, Eli Manning or Peyton Manning, I'm going to take Eli Manning. He's got one more Super Bowl ring. And this year, so far, much better record than the Broncos. And putting up, surprisingly, better statistics than his older brother Peyton. Let's not rule out Peyton, though.
I'm not ruling Peyton out, but I think Eli definitely, he has 2 Super Bowls. Peyton having the injury, he's looking good so far, but we don't know what it's going to be like later on in the season when it gets down to the nitty-gritty time for playoffs. Who knows?
Which I think that's when he's best.
That's true, but we don't know how he's going to be. So that should be interesting to see kind of what happens with the Mannings.
Yeah, Peyton's in a very adverse atmosphere this year. He's not playing in the Dome, and, he's quarterback, so obviously he's passing. Okay. In Denver, when it gets wintertime, which is when playoff football's coming around, it's going to be snowing. And it's going to be hard to get that arm warm. He better have his long sleeve girdle on, I'll tell you that right now. I remember a cold winter day, my mother used to put me in all these girdles and stuff and put me in this thing that was like overalls, but it was like big pillow cushions and stuff.
Onesie?
Yeah. He better have his onesie on in the playoffs this year. But honest to God, don't rule out Peyton Manning and the Broncos as Super Bowl contenders.
I definitely think they're contenders, for sure. I mean, that experience, you can't knock the experience. Speaking of the Broncos, Tebow, what do you think about the whole Jets situation?
What do I think about the Jets situation? My gosh. Okay. Tim Tebow is a great player for the Jets. All I can say about him at this point, he can convert on 4th down in the punt formation. He's a great player, don't get me wrong. You know what I think they need to do with Tebow, honestly? Get him at quarterback. Sanchez, get him out of there. Sanchez, his psyche is all messed up. Sanchez, when you are the starting quarterback in the NFL and your coach pulls you off the sideline in key situations, how does that make you feel?
It's not good. It's definitely, I think his confidence is shaken.
It's going to mess with your head.
And I'm not a huge Tebow fan. I think it's a lot of hype.
Me neither.
I think he is a great player. I think he's athletic, and I think he brings a lot of new elements to the quarterback position, which is exciting for the NFL fans. But at the same time, I think it's a lot of hype. And we're kind of seeing that is he living up to it? And I'm not sure yet. But another...
I feel that Tebow is living up to his hype because he doesn't have much of a role that he can play in because he's not starting. You're not getting this guy on the field. When he is on the field, which is in the punt formation, he does his little fake punt pass or fake punt run. He's converting and he's making plays. What the Jets need to do, which the Jets, they're a little bit of a mess. They got Darrelle Revis out for the year.
It's not looking good for them. Let's be honest.
Yeah, okay. But these guys still can make some noise, go to the playoffs. Tim Tebow needs to be starting quarterback. I'll tell you that right now.
I definitely agree with that. Now moving on to another hot topic in the NFL. A lot of teams that everyone thought were contenders for the playoffs, for the Super Bowl, for the ring, 3-3, 3-4. My Eagles is kind of one that hits the spot for me.
Yeah.
And, it's early in the season. We still have a lot of time to play. But it's kind of disappointing when you have all these teams with so much hype, and then all of a sudden we see the season and they're 3-3, 4-3.
I'm going to stay in state with you on that one in Pennsylvania overall. The Eagles and the Pittsburgh Steelers are not having such good seasons. The Eagles are having a better season than the Pittsburgh Steelers, okay? Don't get me wrong. And what I'll say about the Eagles is they can easily be contenders in the playoffs. They beat the Giants earlier this year on Sunday Night Football. Michael Vick is a great player. LaShawn McCoy is a great player. They have great defensive players. Now, the key is they've just got to play. They've got to win games. They've got to stop turning the ball over so much.
Well, that's kind of the style you get when you have a quarterback like Mike Vick. When he's on, it's great. When he's off, it's bad. But I think, like you said, it's early in the season. I think they definitely are looking a lot better than the Steelers right now. The thing with both of those teams, though, they both have experience. They both have great players. Roethlisberger, Vick, those are some of the greatest quarterbacks in the league right now.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's too late for them to turn it around. I really think it's about getting on a spree and just trying to capture a few games.
Now, that's the thing, though. I mean, we're here talking about this show right now. It's about to be Week 8 or 9, and in the NFL, you're only as good as your last game.
That's very true.
I want to thank you all, the listeners, for watching the first edition of Blue Wave, your source for sports. I'm Tyler Tipton.
I'm Taylor Stewart, and we'll be back with the panel.